Then location is important. It's very important. Wherever you're going to construct this greenhouse, location is very important. You got to consider the drainage, power lines, undergrowth lines. You got to consider that is there any electrical lines where you could be putting this greenhouse? Is there going to be trees? Where's the sun rising and going down at? You got to understand of your wind direction. You got to aim for the wind to be pushing from the back more so than from the sides. Make note of how the sun rises and how it sets each season. The sun has shifted. If you took notice, you'll notice that the sun is not rising and going down at the same location. When I started this greenhouse, the sun was at one certain location. So now it's setting at one location and rising at a different location, which affects how the sun is going to play on this greenhouse into the fall time and into the summertime also. You got to consider the sunlight. Sunlight is a must, and plants need full sun. As you see here, I got a halfway of a shade cloth on here because it is fixing to turn into winter. We're into fall, and I'm kind of doing some experimenting. To have a successful greenhouse, you have to experiment into your area, into your region, of your temperature. You got to get more familiar of the seasons. And even though the seasons are changing to the point you can't tell which season it is, you still have to experiment with your greenhouse to find out what works best into your region. So sunlight is more important, and just about as more important as, or it's just as important as fertilizer. But sunlight is very important to plants. What your plants, how much sunlight they get depends on how leggy they're going to be. And that's what I've been watching here, is make sure my plants are not getting leggy on the inside, to be able to tell more differently and that from the greenhouse. Then I look at the garden. I see how the plants are doing out there. These are broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage and collards, and that is what I've got planted into the greenhouse. So plants need at least 6 hours of sunlight, at least 6 hours. Our temperature has changed with the heating of the sun, and summertime, you used to say your plants will get 8 hours of sunlight, but now it's changing because the sun is getting hotter, so your plants need at least 6 hours of sunlight. Shade cloth in the summertime is a must. You must have a shade cloth. Here you see I've come up with a creative way, this is fall, to let in more sunlight, not completely taken off this shade cover, but got it clothespin up, just rolled up, the wiggle wire taken out on the sides, and just rolled up and then strapped a clothespin to the straps, and it's holding it up. And so far it's working out. My plants do not seem to be leggy. I believe they could be just a little bit fuller if the shade cloth was off, but right now they're doing fine. I might later on, it depends on the weather and watching how the sun does, I might take the shade cloth off. Right now, I'm experimenting with this greenhouse. Proper ventilation is key into a greenhouse. You must have good airflow. You got to have vents. Here is a vent, they call it a solar vent. It opens automatically. I'm going to be putting it up there. This is a place right here that I could also put air conditioning. Once again, roll up sides. These sides roll up. Airflow flows out. Fan. Exhaust fan. This is another vent right here that opens up. This is done by hand. Right now I got turned sideways trying to see, which operates better, either going vertical or horizontally. When this fan is running, it creates this to open up, brings in air. I could really feel the air coming in. This door right here, I can roll it up, and the screen is right there. And then right here, I have a place. If I have it set, that if I wanted to put an air conditioner there, which I have, I could put one there. But ventilation is key. Down here, this door is the same way. I can raise up that window there, and more air comes in. These exhaust fans here are temperature control, so I have them set at a certain temperature, and when the temperature reaches a certain temperature in here, they automatically come on. This is just a small fan here. I got it at a good deal. Right now, I'm just using that. It's supposed to go, you know, it said it will go like really far, but since I have a big fan down there, and I'm just still working to experiment with this, that's up there. And so it seems to be working out pretty good at this point in time, especially for fall time. I still like to keep the airflow in here. I just don't shut it up and let no air come in here. I've learned to cut the fans on because a lot of humidity comes in here, it stays in here. You can see it on actually here onto the plastic, and it's like this every day, and it drips down. I come in here in the morning, and the plants are, you can see it has water, the humidity's on, just water. So you want to make sure you got proper ventilation. I've learned to run this fan for a little bit because my tomatoes in here, fall, not many pollinators. There's lots of tomatoes in here. But I was hand pollinating this by shaking this, and I'm not sure if I got some more blooms right there. I don't feel like it was just not doing good enough. Now, I got a stick up in here because this wire was affecting this tomato. But I started turning the fan on to blow in here so to help these plants pollinate. But ventilation is key. So at a certain temperature outside, the roll-up sides go up. The doors are most of the time open. I have them wide open. This right here, I just made so I could sit down at that door because I had a little dog get in here and started tearing into the beds. And I tried to put something at that end so when I got the doors open, I'm not worried like I was that day of having, you know, putting in the soil and then coming in here and it was like dirt all over the place. So, you know, this also, you know, helps keep possibly some of the critters out. At least it does help with that. It gives a peace of mind. Creative airflow. You know, you want to create airflow to help keep disease down. Keep powder mildew down. You know, different types of plant diseases. Another important key is have a thermometer. This is a mercury thermometer, and I have one down here. I have one in the middle, and I'm constantly watching these thermometers. This is a little bit lower. The other one down at the end is a little bit higher. This one down here, I got one sitting down here. Now the reason I went with mercury because they seem to be more accurate. I had one that was set for greenhouses, and it was actually reading 20 degrees higher, and which would make you panic into a greenhouse because greenhouses can get pretty hot, and you don't want you get too hot in there because if you do, you'll kill your plants, you'll burn them up. So anyway, thermometers is very crucial. You want to make sure that you stay up with a thermometer. When I come in here, the first thing I usually do is take a look at the temperature. You must know that sometimes you're going to have pest issues. You know, it could be less into a greenhouse. It could be more. That's why you have to monitor daily, just like in your garden, to prevent. Yellow sticky mats are helpful. There's gnats that get in there, can get in there, aphids and white flies. And the good thing to have into a greenhouse is a bug zapper. So far, I haven't had, we're in fall, I haven't had much of a problem. But the little one down there stays on pretty much all the time. The big one I haven't had to turn on yet. I didn't see no sense in turning it on, but I didn't really see any issues. So far, I've been blessed not to have any insect problems. You can get floating row covers. It actually helps with to protect from insects. You can get frost blankets to help out. I've got those. I haven't used them yet, but I do have them, you know, ready just in case. We got some cold coming in, and of course you see how big my plants are, so it would definitely be hard to cover up on the sides. I haven't got the soil in here yet. You see that log right there? It's rotten. I got a couple pieces sitting outside. It's just about rotten. I did it in my raised bed because on this end, this greenhouse slants a little bit. It's higher up on this end right here. And you'll see that I got also the landscaping around the edges to help that dirt not to seep through the, and plus I got it caulked around the cracks of putting this raised bed together. But this greenhouse slants a little bit, and so it's higher up on this end. So to help out with the soil, my plan on putting some rotten pieces down here. It's just about completely rotted, and so it's not going to take very long to deteriorate and turn right back into dirt. It'll help out the soil. Now mice do get into the greenhouse. I have some worm castings into a bag. And then I picked up that bag and there was a little hole. Definitely a mouse chewed into it. And so you can you might want to put some traps out. You might, if you start seeing, mice chewing onto your vegetables and stuff, you're definitely going to have to take precautionary measurements on that. So mouse traps, you might have some of those put aside. Now this is an older heater. You want to figure out a way to heat your greenhouse, maybe to help out in some portion of the seasons. Here is a heater. I'm trying this out. I have electrical. I don't have it, setting over here. I kind of have it set in here. Most of the time I'll have this fan up here running, especially help with this humidity. Right now I have it running because it would hear a lot of sound. But electrical heat is very optional. It's probably the best. Also, these are lights up here. These are plant lights. Grow lights. There's two over there. But I also can put heat lamps there. Now I'm trying to come up with a way. I think I'm going to put some plug-ins in there and then drop an extension cord down and have the heat lamp further down because I don't want it to get too hot and of course melt my plastic. So you have to figure out maybe a way to heat your greenhouse or grow certain plants like broccoli and cauliflower and collards and certain vegetables that would not be affected by the cold. But then again, you got to experiment for your region. You see the tomatoes in here. We got some cold coming in. I mean some cold. It's probably going to hit these tomatoes because normally if the soil had been in here, I wouldn't have planted them here. These are tomato plants that voluntarily came up. And so, yeah, matter of fact, I got way more down in here just coming up from the worm castings. And they're just volunteers. And so if I had gotten the soil in here, the little ones, the reason I haven't moved them is because I plan on putting some soil here. And I'll definitely have the tomatoes over here because of the coldness against the plastic and on that area in the wind. Maybe to, be a preventative measurement. So you definitely want to use a heater that has a safe heater feature to it. You don't want to use something that can just cause a fire. The grow lights, will help out as winter does not supply a whole lot of sunlight. As you can see, I ran those two little lights over there. I'd like to have more. I like to have one down there and another one down here, and then have them run down the side right here. That works out really great, especially it seems like here lately we haven't had a whole lot of sunlight. I just don't want my plants to get leggy. And when I have those times that I feel like I'm not getting enough sunlight, especially with their squash over there, then I'll run them and it works out great. So lighting, heating is very important. Then as the season changes, we have to consider the cool down. We have to consider how we're going to cool this thing down. Now, this is a low sidewall 16 by 32 greenhouse from Grower Solutions. And I'd like to say thank you to Danny and Wanda because they helped me, inspired me a lot as far as giving growing tips as far as producing this greenhouse. And then I came up with my own creative ideas. And it's like your own little paradise. But when the seasons change, then you have to figure out, how am I going to cool this thing down? Now this is a low sidewall, not a high sidewall, and we know that heat rises. By saying that, shade cloth is a must. Now I plan on putting shade cloth on the ends. I'm going to get a certain size. I'm going to work it. And because of the heat definitely coming in on this end, it'll heat it up too much. So how are we going to cool it down? Well, your fans is the must. Your exhaust fans is a must. I have one on that end and one on that end. And like I said, they're automatically turn on. If time goes on, that opens up. Time goes on, I might experiment with the AC. That I already have it set up so I can do that. There's a big AC could go there. There's a big AC, a little AC can go down there. When you construct your greenhouse, you want to think ahead. You don't want to think small, you want to think ahead. What if? What if I want to do this? What if this would work? So you want to think about a lot of different things when it comes to having a greenhouse. Cooling down, the window opener, a solar vent opener. Like that I'm going to put up there. So even though that one behind the fan will be open, then I'll have this one up here. The exhaust fans going. The doors open for pollinators. And so, yeah, it's going to be a running and trial error, I'm sure. But, you know, every area is different. And so you definitely, when you're considering having a greenhouse, you got to weigh out all your options. As you can tell, I have electricity in here. Okay, I have electricity. I'm blessed with that. That runs the exhaust fans, the fans, the lighting. Whether I just want, you know, not solar, but the grow lights on, or just come in here and want the regular lights, not run my grow lights, then it works. I have Christmas lights up there. But, you know, if you can't have electricity, one of the options is, and don't be faint-hearted about it, is that run a extension cord, an outdoor safety extension cord, the one that has, whether it's GFG or something like that, one that, you know, is water resistant, that it will automatically shut off if this water connects to water or whatever. You know, so you definitely want it to where in your greenhouse that is, say, safety measures. You know, you don't want to be electrocuted somehow, so you just definitely want safety. If you decide to go with wood, you want to make sure that you go with treated wood. This has been painted, and I'm not finished with it. I just had other projects. But this has been painted to help protect the wood. One thing, there's a lot of moisture in here. So you have to think, it's a lot more work, but at the end results, it gives you a lot more peace of mind. Now, greenhouse ventilation is a state of you removing the inside air of the greenhouse and replacing it with fresh air and outside air, you know, accomplishing it by vents and mechanical fans and shutters. Here's a shutter you see by the vortex inside the greenhouse. It's open it up. We've got some cold coming in because I do have that vortex of wind. I'm going to be taping it there. On the outside, I have hardware cloth to help, you know, keep some of the insects out. But, you know, ventilation, shading is vital. Once again, just going over a few things, our requirements. Opening up all the doors to help with ventilation. The vents on sunny days. Auto vents. As I said, this is an auto vent there. The solar that runs without electricity. We call it solar vent. It's got beeswax into it. You know, you want to make sure that if you're not able to get to your greenhouse, at least something is operating to get some of that heat out. So shading and ventilation are requirements, especially on sunny days. Auto vents, so, and sidewalls. You know, a lot of people, you know, they use PVC and they go over all the way down. You need some kind of ventilation at the bottom. This is roll-up sides on both sides. That ventilation creates a vortex. It gets that heat out. It's bringing fresh air in. It's, you know, it's letting in the good air and kind of getting out the stale air. So ventilation is definitely key. You don't want to have your plastic going all the way down and down on the sides, because it'll be too hot in there and you will not be able to grow anything. The bottom of your doors, as you see, I've got stuff sitting here. I have plastic, and I'll put some wood and bricks behind this because there's a big gap and we got the airflow. I plan on putting maybe some rubber, some kind of rubber down there, screwing it in to help keep the critters out and the airflow. But right now, this is what I'm working with. And sometimes when you're constructing your greenhouse, you have to just work with it. You have to put a lot of thought into it, plan ahead, plan your growing, what you want to grow. You know, definitely put your dream out there. That's just a piece of paper down there, and there's something on the other side of that door, just, you know, against it. And believe it or not, it works. So sometimes with your greenhouse, you just have to make things work. You know, it's not about having all the fancy gadgets. I mean, I would definitely love to have a lot of different other things, but you got to start somewhere. And just be creative with it. Dream out of the box. Don't think small, but dream bigger. Because once, it is some work, but once you get it done, then you're just like, yeah, I'm glad I put this effort into it. And it's exactly what I want. Just like this table right here, I built out of scrap. The scrap wood I had here. I do plan on painting it a different color. I'll probably paint it black. I'm not sure yet, but you know, I got stuff sitting up under here. All that goes over there. And so that I have it right here, easy access, as far as it comes to my plants. And so I haven't used this table. I know it's going to be beneficiary. If nothing else, just to be setting something on it to get it out of my way. Now, as you see, these beds are white. He said, gosh, I would paint them white. Actually, I had white paint, and sometimes you just got to repurpose stuff and use it. I would like to roll it with black on top of it because of the dirt, and I was considering going with a gray. And you know, sometimes you just gotta, whatever you got around the house, just like this table down here, just old scraps, just make it work. And so I said, well, that's what I got, and so that's what I'm going to use. So the one thing about that's great about having a greenhouse is that you can just about grow all season long. You can start growing stuff like this is onions right here. I grew these from seeds. You know, I'm not experienced person when it comes to growing onions. I think it's because I tried growing them in the springtime. But anyways, this gives me the option, and I have grown these from seeds, and so far it seems to be working out. But having your own greenhouse, you know, you can grow fresh produce, like I said, almost all year round. And the structure is useful to allow you to grow different types of plants, like this pineapple down there, that eventually will produce pineapples. Now up under there, that I can put that into soil up under it and make another raised bed. Right now, it's benefiting with those plants right there. So, you know, different types of plants to extend your growing season, you know, by many, many months. So I hope this has been very helpful and beneficiary to you. I got my collards, some from the garden and some from the greenhouse. And now I'm going to go in the house and cook me some collards. The frost has hit them about 4 times, and I've cooked some already, and they are delicious. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And thank you all my subscribers. I appreciate you so much. Help me to get out there into the rhythm of YouTube land. That does take a certain amount of likes and comments and stuff. But nevertheless, I enjoy it. I just enjoy doing it. Hoping just to help some people, you know, to get growing, to grow at their home. I mean, it is relaxing. It's beneficiary. It really benefits you. Like this. I grew these from seeds. I've learned to grow from seeds. The seeds, you know, cost you maybe $2. And you get these seeds, you grow them up from seeds, and I'll show you in a video upcoming in the future at a time when it's time to plant seeds, how to start growing seeds. The first time was a little nerve-wracking, but after you get a hang of it, it's like, yeah, this is the way to go. You don't put that much money into it. You get a whole lot of benefits from learning how to grow from seeds. And you grow from seeds, you're not spending money on plants at the big box stores, and you just get so much more for your money. And then it makes you really feel good when you know you don't have a whole lot tied up into it, but you get a whole lot of goodness out of it. Okay, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you on to the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah. Another tip is just a piece of wire holding that door. Usually close a little bit better until I get a latch there. Don't think you have to go to a whole lot of expense to make it happen. Just be creative.